Joining me right now to talk more about that is Texas Congressman, House Energy and Commerce Committee member, medical doctor as well, Michael Burgess. Sir, good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us. Let's talk first about the border wall. What are your expectations? You're coming from Texas. You are a border state. What are your expectations in terms of getting that money for the border wall?
Well, I think it has to be the $5 billion figure that the president has articulated. And we saw from the images over the weekend the people that actually were able to find their way through the fence. Look, every senator that's over there that was here in 2006 voted for the Secure Fence Act. So they apparently believed it in 2006. But it's apparent that the fence is not working, and the president is correct. The wall is necessary. People are getting hurt because they feel that this fence is something they can slide through and achieve their goal. The wall needs to be there as a matter of public safety.
Why is it that the Republicans are not firmly behind this president on this topic? We know that there are many within your chamber that actually wince when they hear the president wants this money.
Well, I guess we'll see at the end of this week or the end of next week just exactly where everyone is. But I think the president is correct on this, and he is correct to push on this. And my belief is that he will achieve what he needs to achieve. And
coming from a border state, tell us why you think it's important. I mean, do you have any anecdotes for us in terms of what you're seeing in the state of Texas?
Well, my district is not on the border, though I do travel to the border a lot. And what I have seen, my experience on the border in both the President Obama's administration and President Trump's administration is that we really have no border at all. And people are able to have the coyotes are able to deposit groups of people, 14, 16, 18 people, women, children, teenagers, on the United States side of the border. The Customs and Border Patrol then are obligated to take care of those people. And guess what? A mile up the river, you've got all kinds of cocaine, fentanyl, and heroin coming across the border. It is unsustainable the way it is going on right now. If we keep doing the same thing over and over again, we're going to get worse results.
So you are willing to shut the government down if the money is not there for the wall, then?
Well, it wouldn't be me that shuts the government down.
I know,
it would be Senator Schumer.
If you vote,
it would be Senator Schumer that shut the government, because the
You just heard what he said, though, Congressman. He just said the Republicans are in charge of the executive office, the Senate, and the House. It's on them.
Yes, correct. He is right, and that is why Mitch McConnell this time will have to revoke the 60-vote rule for cloture, and it'll have to be a simple majority over the Senate. I think it's pretty straightforward. Otherwise, you end up in a mess, which is where we've been for several years.
Right. Let me switch gears to GM. There's more trouble here. The president is threatening to cut subsidies to General Motors after the automaker announced its plans to cut 14,000 jobs. It's shutting down 5 U.S. factories next year. The president is slamming the company, and he did so in a tweet yesterday, sending GM stock tumbling to session lows. It was down 2.5% yesterday. National Economic Council Director Larry Kudlow reinforced the president's frustration. Here he is.
There's disappointment that it seems like GM would rather build its electric cars in China rather than in the United States. We are going to be looking at certain subsidies regarding electric cars and others, whether they should apply or not. I can't say anything final about that, but we're looking into it. Again, that reflects the president's own disappointment regarding these actions. Ms. Barrett told me, on the other hand, I want to be completely fair here, it's her business, it may be possible to transfer workers to other plants in Texas and Michigan.
Your predictions for the future, are you expecting jobs to be transferred to Texas? And should the president be browbeating corporations?
Well, first, the good news is that you're correct. The Texas GM plant was not one of those ones that was targeted for closure. So folks in Arlington, Texas won't be faced with that. But look, back in 2008, right at the end of the Bush administration, I was pilloried for not voting to allow the president to move TARP money over to General Motors, to not bail out the automobile companies. I did not think that was a good idea, but it happened and it was done. President Obama then took credit for it. Look, the American people stepped up and gave money to that corporation to keep it out of bankruptcy. Many of us argued that a bankruptcy would have actually been a more straightforward path. Now they come back and say, well, great that you gave us this money, but we'll be building these bolts in China.
Yeah.
That just doesn't, people don't accept that.
I could understand that. Real quick, sir, let me get your take on the big news for the Democrats today. House Democrats are facing this key vote to select the next Speaker of the House. Congressman, your expectations for the preliminary vote today, will Nancy Pelosi be the next Speaker?
Yes, and it will be a tragedy for the country. You remember the last time she was Speaker, the economy cratered and then could not recover until she was replaced as Speaker. Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House of Representatives is detrimental to our economy, and it will soon become evident to people just what a mistake they have made in allowing this to happen. But make no mistake about it, Democrats will vote for their Speaker. That's what they have to do. Well,
one of the infamous comments from Nancy Pelosi was her calling all of the tax cut crumbs, the tax cut money, she called it crumbs, and now the House Republicans have this new tax package, and they're facing more opposition from Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats. They say they were blindsided by the proposal. The House GOP is unveiling the new round of tax cuts this week. You and your colleagues want to pass this during the Congress's lame duck session. It would revive expired tax breaks, address glitches in last year's tax plan, change savings and retirement-related provisions. Are you going to be able to get this over the finish line?
In the United States House of Representatives, yes. And then the door closes when Nancy Pelosi is Speaker. Again, I cannot stress how difficult it was on the economy when this individual was Speaker of the House before. Unfortunately, people do have short memories, and they do not recall all of the things that led up to the crash of 2008. All were on her watch. All were on her watch. And then the recovery could not get off the deck until John Boehner was sworn in as Speaker in 2011.
Well, if that's what you're predicting, then I guess you have a good shot to gain the majority back in 2 years then, Congressman.
Well, it's not about me or the majority. It's about the country, and we are entering into a dangerous time, I feel.
Congressman, we'll be watching.
Answer your question, Democrats will have no choice. They have to vote for their Speaker. That is their rule.
Congressman, good to see you this morning. Thanks so much.
Great, thank you.
Congressman Michael Burgess there in Washington.